And we are back. It's time to go into our marquee matchup here of the evening. Our top two squads in the Seoul Dynasty and the Hangzhou Spark are getting ready to do battle now in a new meta. See who's going to be able to come out on top, because right now it's looking like it's very much going the way of whoever can have the better Genji on the day, and I think it's pretty even between the two.
I think the part that gets a little bit more difficult for the Seoul perspective is the Sojin matchup, because in my personal opinion, and we both discussed, just talked about, this cast is Shy in the Mid-Season Madness versus the Gladiators and versus everybody else, and Shy seemed like the best Sojin. He seemed like he was right at the top there, so we will need to see what Seoul are bringing to the table. My biggest question is on their starting lineup.
Sure.
Is it going to be Fitz? Is it going to be Stalker? Given that it's mostly a Sojin meta, I'm probably expecting Stalker over Fitz. The only time that Fitz should likely come on air... No, he's going to start.
Wow.
So it's actually going to be both. Wait a minute. Who's playing? Oh, Stalker's playing the Genji. That means Stalker's playing the Genji. Okay,
and
we're talking.
Prophet is on
what's
support.
Prophet doing? What?
Prophet is playing Brigitte. Prophet is playing Brigitte.
Because I was like, wait a minute. That means Prophet's been benched, but you can't bench Prophet.
Yeah.
And they didn't bench Prophet. They put him in the lineup.
Oh my god.
Because my other question was, like, obviously the other situation that we have on these teams is your flex support player, creative in this case. The question becomes, how good is their break? Because the main support player, Vindane, he's going to be on the Lucio. Prophet on the break. Holy, wasn't he the Zarya player in GOATS though? He doesn't even, I don't think, he was not the break player in GOATS. So I don't know that he has the match record veterancy on break. Obviously he's a great player, so I'm sure he can just play it, but he didn't play the break in GOATS, so this is a turnaround, this is a difference.
This is a very, very different and unexpected look. Yeah, I was right there with you, just scanning across, just like, where's Prophet? How can they actually bench Prophet? But there he is, sat next to Vindame in the support role. Well, let's see if the Hangzhou Spark have any similar surprises for us. Something tells me that it's not going to be the case.
Probably not, unless you see, I was going to say, unless you see Architect.
Wait a minute, well, we do see Architect.
Where's Alpha Yi? I understand. Architect has a good Genji. But Alpha Yi's Genji has been ridiculous. That's like his best hero. Alpha Yi's Genji has been a prime leading factor for, I think, Spark's success over the course of their extremely good regular season. So they're putting, Changun's putting the faith in Architect here. I gotta say as well, the record between Spark and Seoul is 50-50, evenly flat so far this year, 2-2 apiece. The most recent win was Spark 3-0ing versus Seoul Dynasty. That was in the Mid-Season Madness. That was the reason why Seoul dropped down to the lower bracket instantaneously. So we are looking for a bit of a bounce back here, but it's a very different looking Seoul squad, of which I have no expectations. I really don't know what this is going to look like.
All right, well, we thought we had the read. We thought this was going to be straightforward, but not the case at all. Architect coming back into play the Genji, it does make sense. Not as much as I think it needs to really justify this, just given that Alpha Yi has been incredible. But this at least makes more sense than when we saw Architect coming in and playing Ana for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, something that he had not done for an incredibly long time. This at least is more in his wheelhouse, but it's still just so interesting to not have Alpha Yi playing here.
Well, Architect's going to have to pop off, because when Alpha Yi plays that Genji, he is extremely consistent. Almost every game that we've seen from Alpha Yi has been flawless on that Genji. Even if Spark aren't winning or if they're not in a great space, Alpha Yi's Genji has never been part of the issue. It's been one of the leading good factors on the team. So if Architect can't show that kind of proficiency, I'm really struggling to see why they would run Architect over Alpha Yi unless there's a separate non-game issue, like an out-of-game issue where Alpha Yi can't play for whatever reason. I actually think, now that I think about it, it might have something to do with quarantine, but then also Irony is here, because I know that Irony and Alpha Yi are playing from Korea. They've only just recently arrived in China. Sure. I was thinking maybe they're still in quarantine, but then that doesn't explain how Irony's in the lineup, so that doesn't really check out for me.
I don't know. Either way, I'm all about it. It's wild, and we haven't even started the game yet. I mean, yeah, as much as we can talk about Architect being back in and what that means, what the hell is Alpha Yi doing, I'm still very much circling and questioning around Prophet being over onto the Brigitte. This is not the change-up that we had anticipated whatsoever.
he's really putting a lot of faith in the other DPS members here, Fitz and Stalker. I was going to say the rookies, but really Stalker's the rookie. But he is a very flexible rookie, and I think on Genji, on Stalker's past, Genji was also part of his wheelhouse in a big way. So this is not unfamiliar territory for Stalker. He absolutely can be the guy on the Genji, but if you are playing that over Prophet, and you're putting Prophet, well, not specifically Stalker's decision, I don't know whose decision, maybe it's Toby's, maybe MMA or Wizardyoung, but the fact that they are trusting Stalker's Genji over Prophet's Genji, or rather they would just rather have Prophet in that support lineup than anybody else. I think it speaks volumes on a couple of different levels, in that maybe they're not comfortable with creative in that position. Who knows? Maybe they truly do believe Stalker is just a better fit on that Genji DPS, and the only way to fit Prophet in is on that support.
It could be. I mean, maybe Prophet has a clause that in his contract that he has to play in every single game because we have not seen him benched. And, you know, they were just like, well, I guess we just have to put him on break because we like Stalker's Genji so much. We just have to do this.
What's the stat?
So, it could be that.
What's the stat, by the way? That I think Jonak held the record for most matches played because he'd never been benched in his whole career. But beyond Jonak, now that Jonak's retired, like, who has that record been overtaken? Who else can it? Is it got to be? It's got to be Prophet, surely. Because
it would feel like it would be.
I think Prophet, in all iterations of every team he's played on, has pretty much never been benched. So I have to imagine Prophet is the most unbenched player of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I would assume that is the case, but I don't know. We'll have to just kind of wait and see how this all looks. But it's going to be pretty wild as we jump into this one. We are having a little bit of an extended, taking a little bit of an extended time here to try to get into game because there was a water keyboard issue, as Vindham put it. Prophet, I guess he's just so jazzed up and ready to play. He's so jazzed up and ready to play Brigitte, you know, pretty much like the first time in forever at the very least that he knocked some water over and spilled it on his keyboard. So have to make sure that's cleaned up because we need all the peripherals working correctly, obviously.
I heard there was flooding in Korea, but I didn't know it was that serious. I didn't know it was up to that level. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's broken into the Gen G offices on the 4th floor, apparently. Yeah, Prophet, it is a bit of a rainy day, but he is just he's exacerbating things by spilling some water on the desk. But it seems like everything's been taken care of. They are sat down in their seats and ready to get into game. We'll take a look at the map set here in just a moment and see where we go. We already got Nepal and Hollywood in our first series. See if we get any newer maps as well. Looks like no. It's going to be Nepal at the very end if we can go to map 5, which please God give us map 5. But it will be Ilios to start, then into Midtown. Oh, we do get Junkertown. That's true. That's very true. So we're guaranteed a Junkertown.
Hey, if you're playing Junker Queen, you got to play her on the home map. That's how it is. That actually might be pretty reasonable forfeits because once we get into something like a Junkertown, I think the possibility of seeing either an Ashe or, God willing, even a Widowmaker coming out on that map might start to become possible. I still have some questions surrounding, you know, how Fitz can look versus Shy, because I would have said that Stalker is maybe the better fit on the Sojourn to try and match Shy, given how amazing Shy has been on the Sojourn so far. So, see if Fitz is going to do that. I don't think this is going to be the Fitz Sombra, or rather I should change my language and say I hope it's not the Fitz Sombra. It's not.
Well, I did just get word from good old Swing Chip that according to the Chinese broadcast, it is because Alpha E is still in quarantine. So that's why Architect is being fielded for the moment.
So it is not, though. That's what I'm saying, is like they both came to China at the same time.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you exactly what the logistics are there, but seems like that's the case. It's been known over on the Chinese broadcast. We'll go ahead and say it here as well. So we will likely be seeing Alpha E in the meantime. For now, it's Architect. Let's see how practiced he is. Obviously, this is his, you know, much like Who Are You, namesake hero, you would say.
Ironing also on the Brig as well.
Right on top of Bernard.
Oh, super rich low. Yeah, Bernard taking a big hit as well. That's going to be Spark instantly giving up possession of the point itself, so first cap going Seoul.
Prophet taken down. Bernard says welcome to the support role. Vinham's going to fall as well, so that's both supports now taken away from the side of the Dynasty. Smurf able to answer one back. Getting rid of Bernard there in that front line, but yeah, it's just a matter of time there. Shy just painting a picture around Fitstrong and outline, but eventually does manage to find his target, gets a follow-up there. And now that flip will be there. 23% established for the side of the Dynasty as Spark gain control.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone here that Shy's already just starting to get these frags in. Getting up, I believe, 3 final blows there in that last engagement. And with Bernard's opening frag, by the way, onto Prophet, allowing Spark to get control and get that flip back. So very quickly now, Spark will catch up, overtake, and the first ultimates coming online are going to be support. So no ridiculous Genji openings here. No who are you on the table.
Nope. Well, slight little lead is there for Stalker. Big one now as he dashes through, builds up quite a bit of percentage. Bernard going to be falling low. The shout comes in.
Wait, no.
Rich trying to survive, but no, he gets taken down. Fitz with a nice headshot, finds the kill, but Stalker and Prophet both going to be eliminated on the back end. Fitz will find a follow-up. The support's out of the fight here for the side of the Spark, but the flip is there. Dynasty gaining control, but can they survive in the extended fight? It looks like the answer is going to be no, because Shy is just continuing to hit rail shot after rail shot.
Yeah, he is really just kind of, again, showing why he is considered to be the best Surgeon player, maybe even the best hit scan. 5 final blows over the course of these 2 fights, 50% now found for the Hangzhou Spark as the ultimates start to really come online in a big way. Dynasty trying to catch up on ultimates. They're not that far off, but it's 4 ticks now for Spark.
I mean, the biggest problem is that Prophet is quite far off. He's still 30% away. Already has the rally ready to roll.
I mean, that early death definitely costs you a lot of time.
Yeah. Just hasn't found the stability necessary. Sound barrier going to be dropped on either side in response to the overclock. The blade still ready to go here on either side. No, actually, Stalker had already used it, just didn't get any value from it. Architect still holds on to one of his own now as the shielding has expired. Anti goes out onto 2. They're looking to try to out-pressure Bernard. He goes down to a sliver of HP. The rally helps keep him alive for a little bit longer, and so far, no one has been able to find him. He actually is going to be able to survive the fight. Instead, the focus gets turned over towards Architect, and now Fitz over on the walkway with that overclock will be able to pick up 2 quick kills. Looks for Super Rich on the back end, sets up for the elimination. Once more, the Dynasty will gain control of the point, but they're ticking up now at 42%. A long ways to go if they want to close this out.
It's both teams popping 4 ultimates in there, but it will be the Seoul Dynasty. Smurf with the Rampage will make a huge difference here. Bernard still 50% behind. I mean, that really does count for a lot at the end of the day. Rampage puts up a gigantic amount of pressure onto the team. And then starts to open up opportunities for players like Fitz to get some value on the overclock there as well. Shutting down Architect's Blade was another big thing that happened as well for the Seoul Dynasty in the previous fight. So it will be opportunity now for Bernard to pop in this Rampage. It will be kind of soft countered by Prophet's rally.
Stalker gotta play carefully here. The rally's going to be called to go for the aggressive fight. Bernard does hold on to that Rampage, but how much damage he's taken now. Definitely needs to hold on to it. Just keep it pocketed for now, but the lead getting ready to be gained here for the side of the Dynasty as they chase forward, continue to find some staggers. Narrowly escaping is Super Rich as he scurries his way back into the dropship, but yeah, last fight territory for either side.
And that's the thing, right? Spark unfortunately end up losing a fight in a situation where Seoul times it perfectly. They know that if Spark lose there, they're going to struggle to get to this point now, and Bernard wants to use his ultimate. He's going to be able to find it. Touch is confirmed by the Tracer of Architect. Now Bernard needs to find this.
That's forward. Managed to get on and through with a Rampage. The anti out on the Fitz, and Architect is there. Scoops the kill. Now Binham's going to be bled out. Find 2 quick kills. It looks like the Spark not done yet. The side of the Dynasty, if they want to be able to recontest this, they need to drop back right now and get ready for the last second touch. Smurf narrowly does manage to make his way back. Rejoins in with Prophet. Fitz over on the Tracer now, getting ready for the touch.
Yep, will be Rampage time for Smurf as well. This won't be counted. Super Rich Irony Needle.
Touch isn't there yet.
Just a little bit off. They just get
Very
it.
last
Smurf,
second.
okay. This has to be a Rampage now.
They narrowly managed to make it happen. The Rampage going to be used. Cuts through.
Just
only finds Bernard, but if they can focus fire down the Junker Queen, it might just be enough, but the kill is not there, and Shy, yet again with a rail, takes down Binham. He was getting ready to have that beat at the ready, but Stalker pulls out the blade, and this time it's finding so much value. 4 quick kills, scooped up, looks for the final blow onto Architect, will not get it. Smurf takes it away with a melee hit. There's the flip, there's the OT bleed out, and so neck and neck between these 2 squads. But despite how things started, the Dynasty will be able to take the first round. Ruins is theirs.
And it wasn't looking good for the Seoul Dynasty until Stalker comes on out with that incredible blade. 4K including onto Super Rich, who was at 98% towards the Lucio sound barrier. If that sound barrier comes on through, those kills wouldn't be there. Spark would still have an opportunity to play in. Seoul Dynasty would then also use, I believe, their sound barrier was also coming online, and that would have been an extended skirmish. But the timing of that blade could not have been more precise just to get those members done before Spark start coming back online. So very close 99 to 99, and a huge bounce back from the Seoul Dynasty, snowballing off a very important fight where Smurf had the Rampage where Bernard did not. as we move over to Lighthouse now. Again, very standard stuff. This is another position where maybe an Ashe could get played, but no team is willing to go there just yet.
Just keeping everything fairly neutral with the comps. The Tracer is pretty much the only real variation that we saw, but it's all because of that last second desperation needing to get the touch, and it worked a treat for the side of the Dynasty. Rail goes wide, Fitz avoiding getting his head taken off there. As both squads make their way over to the point. Now contesting it. Shout out. Burned on both sides. Vinheim and Providence both taking a ton of damage right now. Dynasty under an immense amount of pressure. Vinheim going to fall. Shy once more. Able to find the opening kill now. Follows up for a second onto Smurf. Super Rich will take it away from him there as they look for a kill on the Prophet as well. The cleanup coming through. Damn near a team kill, and that's going to be the Spark grabbing control of the point first.
It's no members lost on the side of Spark as well, so now they get to take all advanced positioning. And the damage pressure that we saw them, if you looked at the Seoul Dynasty HP bars before everything kind of went down, I think all 5 members of Seoul were on 50% or less HP, so it was just a moment of cleanup there for the Hangzhou Spark. 2 rails. The rest is history as we head into fight number 2 now. Neutral number 2, no ultimates available just yet.
Going out, Architect keeping pace with Stalker here. It's about 5% behind. A Stalker looking for a target, spamming out these right clicks, but Smurf pressured out, wraps around the backside, ends up falling. They will find Shy for their troubles. Frontline broken down just for one of the DPS on the side of the Spark. Is that going to be good enough? Riley's rolling from Irony. So it seems like, okay, Providence is actually going to match this one. Dive is going through, though. They're still looking for Fitz. They take him low, but they can't get the kill. Now they've overstepped. Irony going to be eliminated. Bernard falling low. The sound barrier goes through. Only shields up on to 3 here on the side of the Spark. Shy not in range of it. Blade pulled. Bernard cut down. Looks like the Dynasty should be able to break through on this fight. Drop down, grabs the mini pack, goes right back in. The flip's coming through. Dynasty now in control. 56% set up for the side of the Spark with both DPS ults ready to go.
Spark overstepped there. They did not need to chase that far. They baited out the extra rally from Prophet.
They
At that
really
point, you can back out. I mean, they did, and that's the thing about this 4v4 situation is you trade Shy for Smurf. That's a positive trade for Spark because having one Junker Queen alive when the other one is not is a big deal. Now Shy gets a clean trade on the Stalker without losing anybody on his side.
Yeah, didn't even have to pop the overclock for that one. Now we'll go ahead and utilize it. Sound barrier in response to Vinheim, but it's only onto the supports. He and Prophet getting shielded up. Everybody else left out to dry. The only thing that they get is a commanding shout from Smurf, and that is just not anywhere close enough to the amount of healing and green HP that they need. They get taken down. Stalker with a little bit of extending there on the point. Saggers himself 40, or almost 40% set up, but now the Spark very much in control.
And this is a situation that's very common in the Junker Queen matchup as well, where you see both teams having a Rampage finally available, but no support ultimates to counter it because the support ultimates were burned a lot earlier. Junker Queen's Rampage takes a long time to charge. Both Rally and Sound Barrier do not take as long, nearly as long, so they're both gone, which means both these Rampages will stick.
Overclock is here. Fitz trying to find somebody, but he's not going to get anything. Rampage through from Bernard. Does manage to find 3. Smurf going to be eliminated. This is final fight. They need to find some stability, some picks right here, right now. The Dynasty want to be able to take this as a 2-0. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to be going to well. 1 kill on to Shy. Getting ready to have to touch for the overtime. Stalker already there.
Coming.
Forces this one out. Smurf's coming back. Rampage ready to go from him. Everything in the kitchen sink going to have to be used here from the side of the Dynasty. As the blade gets pulled, Architect immediately finds Vinheim. Fitz and Stalker both going to be taken out. The dash through. Smurf gets 2 with the Rampage, but the cleanup is there for the side of the Spark. They shut them out of this one. Lighthouse nowhere near as back and forth, nowhere near as close as Ruins. That will extend us now to well to see who is walking away victorious on Ilios.
Yeah. And that sort of Junker Queen versus Junker Queen situation where they both have ultimates and no one has support ultimates, that's like a showdown at high noon. Who gets to actually pull that trigger early? Because what you see here is Burner finds the Rampage onto Seoul, which obviously is going to catch Smurf because when you Rampage, ideally you are going to catch the opponent's Junker Queen as well. Smurf, can he respond to that time? He could possibly pull his own Rampage, but if he does and dies in the middle of it because he's currently bleeding down very rapidly, taking a lot of damage while anti, he's going to lose the ultimate. So it puts the Junker Queen player in a really contentious place where they're kind of concerned. They don't have the confidence to pull back their own ultimate, but given that Smurf dies at around, what, 80-ish%, yes, it was final fight territory from there. And you're seeing now that we're seeing the first different hero coming on through, and it is the Echo on Well, which is, I think, the one part of this map that you can justify an Echo. I will still say, however, though, Genji is more of a pop-up hero than Echo. Echo is a very long-range hero, but she doesn't execute in the same way with the same safety as Genji, so see if Stalker can make this work.
Decent pressure out onto a couple members here for the Spark, so it's good chip damage being shown from the side of the Dynasty thus far. As the point gets unlocked, both teams moving forward to contest it, and Stalker, he does find value already. Shy going to be beamed down. Now looking for just a little bit more. The point going to be conceded widely here. And as the Spark cannot really continue to play forward. Sticky bombs going out. Bernard going to be popping the shout, just trying to keep himself and everybody else alive, but Irony still going to end up getting dropped. Bernard right back into the mix, manages to help break down the front line. Smurf falling, but it seems like widely it's still very much the Dynasty taking the fight in their own hands. Find some follow-up kills, and they hold control of the point.
I mean, that's great isolation by Stalker. He finds Shy kind of on an off angle, as you would kind of want to do as a Sojin player. He pops down Stickies next to Shy, which cuts off his escape, and then due to the damage from that, finds the 50% mark, beams Shy down. Shy can't slide away, and that's the opening 5v4 secured. And I think Stalker going for Shy opening is very important, because that's the one player that can shut Stalker down. So we'll have to see this duplicate coming online, and maybe the next fight copying a Junkertown. I mean, that can be a difference maker as well.
Prophet zoned out there for just a moment. Shy trying to get that kill. Turns its sights over to him once more. Trying to build up for this rail. Stalker playing once more around the outskirts of the point here, up into the skies. Still low on HP, however. Needs to be playing this out very carefully. Shout used, overclock pop, Fitz charging forward. They find Irony for the first shot. Super Rich gonna have to try to play elusively. Woo, Fitz just feels that. Those shots coming in from Shy, tickling him on his shoulder, just turns and domes him quickly. Massive shutdown here for the side of the Dynasty, as Bernard is going to be staggered here on the point. Super Rich eventually going to be taken out. More time bought, 80% locked in. They are looking for the cleanup right now, are the Dynasty.
And the difference maker there is the fact that support ultimates were online for the Seoul Dynasty, specifically Vindame Sound Barrier. We're not online for the Hangzhou Spark. Both Super Rich and Irony died in the 90s. 90% now found. Neither of the Junker Queen players are anywhere near the Rampage, but the duplicate is online. So can we find this duplicated Rampage? It can be difficult, you'd be surprised. Hard to charge up the Rampage, even in duplicate form.
Show how much time Stalker's been practicing.
He picked the Genji.
Actually, no, he's going to go for the Genji. So there is a Genji on this roster after all. Dashing through, Architect only able to find him. Now two members going to be gone. The rally from Irony's not offering up enough to try to keep them alive. Architect with his blade, however, is fighting back. Not going down without a fight, but eventually has to resheath it. Now it's just him and Irony basically trying to win out the fight right now between the two of them. However, the point still being occupied. The Spark are keeping this overtime extended. The Dynasty rejoining. Their full 5 members coming back into the fray. It might just come down to these Rampages. They narrowly give this one up. They managed to get the touch back through once more. Rampage v Rampage. The rail shot is good. Prophet taken out by Architect. Now the overclock pop. They're looking for Stalker up into the sky. They managed to find him. The Spark, they managed to go ahead and get this cap through. I'm not done yet. The 100-0 not going to be there. Dynasty once more going to have to try to retake this.
Yeah, well, Dynasty get out with most of the members alive here. Spark this time are not going to overstay their welcome and overstep their boundaries here. That was, I think, a heart-skipping moment. I thought the C9 was there. I thought they weren't going to touch. I literally saw the overtime wick burn down to almost nothing, but somebody just managed to get in there. Rampage coming through now, both teams.
Oh, it's massive. Managing to clip onto 4. Bernard just bleeding him dry. Smurf answering back, however. 2v3 looking great for the side of the Dynasty. They might just be able to make this happen. Suddenly Shy is the last one standing. They know where he's at. They're looking to zone him away as the cap comes in. The Jagged Blade not going to connect, but I don't think they really care. He's shoved back over towards their side of the spawn. The cleanup comes in. They get that stagger. The OT starting to bleed away. Can anybody get the touch? The answer is going to be yes. Bernard out. Desperation swapping over the Doom Fist. Going to be looking to keep things going here for his squad. The rail going into the wall. Fitz unable to find that added damage that he's looking for. Here at the start of the fight, Nate's going to be bounced back away. We'll find that zoning damage. Irony, however, now going to be picked off. Architect at a sliver of HP. The overtime bleeding down. They once more get the touch to reset it, but Super Rich is going to be clipped out of the sky. Great little shots coming in, and it feels like the Dynasty should inevitably be able to close this, but Shy comes back in. Finds 2 quick kills. Can he do it? No! Gets pressured out. Stalker gets on top of him, manages to find the elimination, and in the very end, it's a great overtime fight here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but the Dynasty will be able to take it. Ilios is theirs, 2-1.
Yeah, they make it very close, a very competitive map overall for both teams there, but you revisit the situation in, I think, the second to last fight on Well there, the exchange of the Junker Queen ultimates, where this time Smurf doesn't want to go down without using his own Rampage. He's like, you know, Bernard's Rampage be damned, I will pop my Rampage no matter what the situation is. He gets it in there, and despite Bernard having a lot more members connected through, and actually the bleed down effects collecting, I believe, at least 2 kills, Smurf still manages to get a couple members down, but the addition of, you know, Stalk and the rest of Seoul Dynasty being in the mix means that when the dust settles, they have 3 alive, and Spark only have 2 alive, so Seoul working that 3v2 advantage, they get their map.
Some wild skirmishing here, and very much on a knife's edge as the Dynasty do manage to take Ilios for themselves, but it's not without breaking a sweat, that is for damn sure. Coming up next, though, on Hybrid, we'll be going over to Midtown. A little bit of, you know, familiarity compared to what we have been seeing thus far in this year. We'll see how these squads look moving into that map with this Junker Queen meta behind them and see whether or not the Hangzhou Spark are going to be able to win out and tie this up 1-1. That map's coming up in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. It's time to go into map number 2. Midtown coming up as we get ready to go for Hybrid. Dynasty currently leading 1-0 over the Hangzhou Spark. But it was incredibly back and forth on Ilios. Seems like, especially compared to our first series, a bit more evenly matched. And that's what we anticipate, given that we do have our top 2 teams in the region squaring off.
Yeah, I think Burner and Smurf both playing each other pretty close in the Junker Queen so far. Early thoughts on Prophet Brig. I don't know if there's anything too remarkable to talk about just yet as far as the Brig goes. We'll see what happens in future maps here, but yeah, I mean, he actually managed to get a reasonable amount of final blows in there. Didn't stand out for any poor reason, so I guess that's always good news when you don't have you know, obvious mistakes made by supports. That's probably a good sign, so we'll give him a passing grade for now and just see how things move forward in Midtown.
Yeah, I think that if I had to describe it in 2 words, it would be just fine. You know, nothing to point out negatively, as you say, but also not much to speak of as far as praise is concerned. You know, I guess maybe trailing a little bit further behind Irony when it came down to just that rally charge, but that's kind of to be anticipated as he really finds his footing on this pick.
I mean, I will say, this is not the meta for Briggs to pop off, right? That's like our previous 2 metas and stages. That's where you saw Vindame do, you know, doing God's work on that Brigida, but now in a Junker Queen meta where you are kind of an accessory piece to the Junker Queen success, and ideally the most impactful things you can do is kind of whip shot a Dragon Blade away or whip shot a Junker Queen away. Beyond that, you know, if you can add some extra damage in and get some shield bash damage in, it's pretty damn good. Really impressed by Stalker, though. I think a lot of people probably weren't expecting a lot from Stalker, given if you haven't seen him play on Genji, you're probably surprised he's even on that Genji position, but that insane 4K blade that he had on Ruins really gave them that first round win. And beyond that as well, just statistically speaking, was, you know, outperforming everyone else on the server, so he really pulled his weight on that last map.
Yeah. Still, though, I mean, with that incredible pop-off there from Stalker, still need to be very concerned about Shy, because we're seeing how close he's able to make this, you know, pretty much all on his lonesome, much like we saw Stalker drag them over the finish line on Ruins. Shy has been a very dominating presence so far.
They're the 2 leading players on the last map. It's Stalker on 20 final blows, then Shy on 18 final blows, which is the 2nd highest. And beyond that, you have like 11 on the other DPSs. So Stalker and Shy definitely a cut above so far as the 2 top players in the lobby. We're moving now into Midtown opening fight. We'll see if that continues or whether things change. Stalker with the opening first blood.
Yeah, getting the better of Architect there. New blood versus ult. Comes out on top. Fits. Timing it perfectly to get the rail shot across their auto super rich. And it's looking like they are going to very swiftly be able to break through his point A defense. As Fitz will go ahead and finish off Bernard. So now occupying the point. Cap should come in unless we see a last second contest, but that seems unlikely.
You really need to have Bernard in position. With Bernard dead, there's no shot. So that's why you see Seoul Dynasty. They will chase up until the point they can guarantee the kill to Bernard. Once that's done for, they don't need to chase any further. They can start focusing on the cap. And very effective snowball as well, where possibly Shy can get caught out here. He is.
Oh boy.
Again, working the off angle, but Stalker finds him. Fitz getting the kill.
I mean, they just force him up into the sky. Rail shot connects. Great accuracy there from Fitz. Really, okay. Yeah, just does it again.
Fitz is taking command. That's 4 kills now over the course of these 2 fights, and they'll probably get this Bernard frag as well. Very low HP, and Fitz isn't even interested. He knows he can move on.
Yep. Looking for a different target, letting everybody else skirmish over who gets the final kill, or final blow there onto Bernard. And yeah,
like I said,
the cart is kind of gliding right now.
It's just snowballing. They've been snowballing since getting the initial frag from Stalker and Architect, forcing that 5 versus 4 situation where they cleanly take A, and it really hasn't stopped then with another clean pickoff onto Shy, who is, you know, very far off to the side, and I think that's something you would expect a Sojourn player to do. It's just that he probably didn't respect the fact that Stalker could have been right on top of him, and that ends up allowing the kill to come through from Fitz, and from there another 5 versus 4. So Sparker yet to put themselves on the 5 part of that equation. They're constantly on the 4.
Well, a little bit of a lull in the action here at long last, as the Hangzhou Spark will say. We're more than happy to have the action continue. We can slow down a bit. Let's get right to the top of the ramp. Overclock now available. Shy not that far off. 18% left to go. Feel he can match these ults, but it's just going to get popped right off the rip. Fitz now looking for a target, dropping down off the high ground. As comes in from behind. Architect looking to out-pressure him. Takes a nasty shot, however. Falls low. Super Rich going to get cleaned up now. Bernard taken out in the cart. It's just 0.3 meters left to go. Team kill is there, and it is over 5 minutes as we enter into the terminal.
That's not even the craziest stat so far. You know what the craziest stat so far is over the course of 2 capture points, Spark don't have a single final blow. Not a single member of their squad has gotten a single kill yet. So
oh dear God,
that last fight was a ult difference. No, by the way, no players on Spark have any ultimates. Bernard and Shy are just about to get them now. So Seoul Dynasty, they pop Overclock, they pop Rally, and Spark can't respond.
Well, that's a pretty damning figure.
Is this their first kill? Can they get a kill now?
They're trying for it. Shy now going to be popping the overclock. The shout going to be used. Vinham pressured out, goes low, still holds on to that sound barrier, however. Does not panic ult now with the overclock expired. They'll look to push back in. This could be 4v4. Everybody has ults inside Resurgence. Oh, okay, played out. Stalker dives forward. Bernard going to be taking down the sound barrier. He's just too late from Super Rich to try to save their tank. Now they pile in, looking for a little bit more. Get rid of the shielding there from Architect. Rampage cuts through, managing to find 3. Both of the supports included in that figure. Architect will finally find a final blow for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Gets himself a second. As Stalker, in the meantime, just has Shy juggled into a corner. Bullies him out, finds the kills, and despite Architect's best efforts finally putting them on the board, the cart continues to press forward.
I was going to say as well, you know, we had a previous situation where Bernard had the perfect opportunity to pop in a Rampage, chose not to. And as he backs on out and they reset, it is Smurf finding it and Bernard falling. Despite the best efforts, Spark, they're only barely holding on off the back of Architect, finding a double kill on the plate. Now we go for Bernard's Rampage.
Okay. The rally is rolling, just trying to keep them alive. Smurf, however, still going to be pressured out as the axe comes slashing across Smurf. A couple extra final blows being found now as Architect very much has the lion's share of them. I mean, very much is a deadlift from his perspective. They will get a team kill in the end. And finally, some stability is found.
I had to hold myself back from making the 2 final blow 100% deadlift meme come through again. As, it was there for Architect in the previous fight. He had the only 2 final blows of all of Spark. He'll be holding 5 out of 7 now. So let's see how things move forward. A couple players low on the side of Spark. Shout's been expended.
Shy immediately collapsed upon the kill. Fitz spamming everybody else down as they try to exit from the side room. Overclock nearly there for him. Super Rich pressured out. Smurf gets the elimination. Irony trying to hold on here. He's holding on by a thread, but eventually Stalker will be able to get the finishing blow. Bernard gets cleaned up as well, and it's just seeming like one after the other strung together. Down go the members of the Hangzhou Spark. The push resuming once more for the side of the Dynasty.
Yep, Architect only coming back online now, or soon. He needs this blade desperately, but no one can even touch. The boop coming through at the end there from Vindem as well that we did see. Covered by
Fitz was right.
Overwatching Fitz.
He said this ends now, and then it did.
Yep.
Aptly timed little voice line.
So that was one of the cleanest 2-16. I mean, they started with like 5 minutes on C, was it? Did they have 5 minutes going to C?
5-0.
So that's not a bad.
Like
that's actually not a bad, you know, kind of bleed down at the time before Spark. If you're looking for any silver linings there, given that Spark immensely struggled on this defense, the only silver lining is that they did shave nearly 3 minutes off, which is something, but it does require them to finish the entire map now, and something needs to be done about how early Shy is getting picked here. It's a combination of he is trying to, at least on the cases of like B and some other points, trying to play a little bit more forward and off angles, maybe not respecting the flanks from Stalker and co, but also beyond that as well, Seoul Dynasty are very much running at him, gunning him down as the first member to kill. I mean, usually you'd be kind of targeting the Brig for the most part, because the Sojins are a little bit more tricky to get locked down, but if Shy's too far forward or he's too far out of position, even the Sly is not going to be enough to save him. And when Shy's been going down a significant amount of time, I mean, he's not going to be there to respond and get those rail kills. He's only on 1 final blow so far, and given that Architect has the lion's share and Spark barely have any final blows to work with, this needs to be a much better attack than it was a defense.
Oh yeah. In every single metric, finishing with no time in the bank, obviously not going to be ideal for them either, because they don't want to be playing for a draw. They want to be playing to tie this up. So pressure certainly mounting. Shy really needs to be the one to try to get it done. Gets hit, quick little pullback, trying to bring him into line of sight so they can get a punish, but he does manage to elude getting taken down by the Jagged Blade. Shout used for Bernard. Trying to keep everybody as healthy as possible. Shy again, though, getting pressured.
Swapping around, look at this, rotation back into main now. It's burnout, super rich low.
Aid value, it looked like the placement of that was going to be good, but Bernard ends up falling, and now they're completely contained and locked into underneath the drain guards. They're trying to play Ring Around the Rosie just a bit, but Prophet, he's gone ahead, circumnavigated them, got in from behind. They just all stay locked in the alleyways. The cleanup comes through.
It's just a better response from the Seoul Dynasty. Also, I think Hangzhou Spark didn't really do themselves any favors by playing alleyway. In this type of composition, you just don't want to be in the choke. You do not want to be the team stuck in that choke and just allowing Genjis to dash on through, getting a ton of damage and allowing for easy rails and stuff as well, easy knife pulls. Yeah, Seoul Dynasty just, they saw the rotation from Spark and the counter rotations, Seoul responded instantly. So see how Spark want to play this now. They're going to get kind of back into alley, but this could be tricky depending on where Seoul Dynasty are. If Seoul Dynasty decide to push on up, Hangzhou Spark could be caught.
Slow and steady, but that's just doing nothing but benefiting the side of the Dynasty. They're happy for this to be at a snail's pace right now. Spark just poking and prodding, hoping desperately for a pick. The rail being held, trying to see if anyone comes out around the side of the fire truck. They're playing away from it. Now the nade zones him back indoors, breaking his line of sight. Gets the spot there for just a moment on the Vinham, but does not pull the trigger. Now finally sends the rail out, but it's not going to lead to a kill. There's no one to play off the back of that, so nothing found. Now once more, the shouts coming from both sides. Stalker will go down. Bernard managing to get on top of him. Gets the punish. Is that going to be enough for them? Because right as I say that, Vince gets the headshot. Irony now going to be taken down. Vince nearly with the overclock built up. Kai has his first, pops it immediately. Sound barrier in response from Vinham. The rally rolling as well. Super Rich uses his own shielding, but they just managed to push through it. Prophet takes out Shy. Architect is dead, and this is just going to be a clean sweep.
And a couple things going on there was the fact that you had Irony going down and you didn't have the extra rally to play through. Both Prophet and Vindame got to use their support ultimates. Super has tried to respond with a sound barrier, but double support ultimates will clear that instantly. Shy tried to get something done onto the overclock, but he was only spending the entire time shooting Prophet with a shield up, so couldn't find a frag, and then I guess he slides into Smurf without realizing that Smurf was behind him. We saw from Shy's POV, he slides backwards, and Smurf's like, well, I guess it's a free kill for me.
Yep, hello. Well, making up for it here. Shy takes out Vince. It's going to be the overclock out of the fight. Needs to rejoin Stalker in the meantime, looking to hold everybody at bay with the blade. Pulled out. Bernard under pressure, ends up falling. Single slash, the follow-up from Smurf. Good enough to go ahead and take down the enemy Junker Queen.
They want Vindame.
A little bit more. They're jumping forward. They're trying to get on top of Smurf here as well, and Vindame. Just haven't been able to find it. In fact, it's going to be Super Rich and Irony now getting taken out of the fight. 35 seconds remaining. Architect with a blade. Nearly, they have a rampage online, but is it going to be in time? Can they play off the back of these ults well enough to actually get this cap on A? Right now, it's looking like the full hold.
Yeah, the time is just not going to be there for the Spark, even if they cap A. Remember, they have to finish the entire map, and if they don't do it with the time, it's a draw-only scenario. So this map is pretty much done and dusted here. Spark would have to kind of completely flip the script and flip that table over. Seoul Dynasty don't look like they're going to be falling over just yet. This fight, though, is still not completely over, given that Burner has a shout. He has a rampage coming up.
Touch. All right, where's the touch? Haven't seen it yet. There it is. For very last second, they managed to make it happen. The rampage is absolutely massive. Catches everybody else that was alive in the fight. Smurf, the last man standing here at the very end. There's just nothing for him to do but die in the corner. It seems like at the very last moments, Hangzhou Spark will find their footing. They managed to strike, playing off the back of a massive ult. And they go ahead and get the cap. So 2.5 minutes going to be added to the time bank. But is this the flip of the script that you were asking for, or will this just get bled dry once more?
I have a very interesting stat line to come through. It's the fact that there's only a 200 to 300 damage differential between these two teams, but the Seoul Dynasty have about 22 more final blows, despite the team damage difference not being that high at all. In fact, Shy is doing more damage with better rail accuracy than Fitz, but he's got less skills, so Spark are struggling to collect these final blows despite getting just as good damage.
So all I'm hearing is that Prophet is the go-to the healer, and he's just able to keep everybody alive despite the immense amount of damage output coming through. That's all I'm picking up on this one. Into the corner, though. Smurf going to be taken down. Good opener. As the overclock does expire. Looks for a little bit more. They managed to pressure him out. Stalker diving in. Does find Shy, but fits off screen as well. Finished off by Architect as Genji just managing to get on top of the opposing Sojourns. Finding some nice value. Prophet trying to escape. Takes a shield bash up here onto the high ground, but still is in a really rough spot. But with a re-arrival of Smurf, it seems like he will be okay for now. Cart can now start moving forward down into the underpass. 1 minute and 23 seconds remaining.
I think this is the sort of situation where, you know, this is going to be a load-bearing rally coming through from Irony because it has to survive up against a sound barrier up Blade plus the Rampage from Smurf. All Seoul have to do is wait for this Rampage. They can just pop that and then they can win.
Okay,
and Irony's dead.
Fitz made down. Irony gonna fall. Doesn't get to use the rally. There's the Blade just slicing through them. The kills are found, and once more the Cart gonna be halted, rolling back. 55 seconds left at the side of the Spark, and just one ult to speak of.
They're even looking for a potential spawn camp here as well, which will waste the time of the Spark, but you have to be careful about not overstepping because if you do, you lose the opportunity to get this one big Rampage fight. Smurf popping the Rampage here can be the winning play, but with Profit down, they have to back out.
Yeah, not even the headshot, just well. Body shot there with the rail, and Shy follows up, gets both supports now for his troubles. Pushing forward, and yeah, I mean, this is what you're talking about, that overextension, not playing carefully enough. Cart still has a considerable amount of distance, however, so the Dynasty should be able to get one more 5-man fight to contest this.
And I think for the Seoul Dynasty, that's a situation where they just didn't need to get that aggressive. They should be playing a little bit further back, even allowing the Spark to get in the underpass to touch the payload, then play for the Rampage. They can still do that now, but with the Spark in a much better position. Spark have better opening position here than they would have previously had the Seoul Dynasty just pulled back.
Rally out from Irony, the ante from the Rampage, only catching 2. Bernard, a little bit of pressure, but now can be healed. The Architect finds Fitz, Blade pulled out immediately. Gets in, finds Profit, finds Smurf, and it seems like we are not done yet. Architect,
huge,
picking up 4 eliminations with the Blade itself. Otherwise, I believe just completely aces the squad. And that is going to be the cap now on to point B.
We are realistically looking at a Spark draw scenario now, so their goal is to finish the map, play for the draw scenario on the time bank, and then survive in the series from now. That's better than being down 0-2 and having to reverse sweep, but you know, this is another situation where I think Seoul probably could have just finished the map there on B had they not gone for the spawn camp, but now they have to kind of lie in that bed. They can still win the map. They are not in the draw scenario. Spark are.
Overclock forcing them back. Bernard down to a sliver of HP. Shy gonna get picked off. Any kills are just an immense amount of value here for the side of the Dynasty. But Midhane maybe overstepping. Now going to be taking down the Rampage. Massive from Bernard. Catches everybody else. The cleanup is there. And just like that, the Dynasty have overstepped once more. The cleanup is in. The Cart advancing forward.
And Profit popped up, so that's actually even better for the Hangzhou Spark because not only do they win that fight, but it's a 2-2 ultimate trade, which evens out the amount of ultimates that was spent. So Spark just get to walk on forward now, and they have to, you know, trust in the Shy Overclock that he will live during the swap because again, Shy has been the #1 target, and he needs to be careful. His HP is looking fantastic.
The Overclock popped the Blade there. Stalker looking to shut this one down at long last. Cut down, however. Still, an immense amount of value found with the 2 kills. Now Super Rich as well going to fall. That is the supports out of the fray. Bernard and Architect, just a sliver of HP, do get cleaned up. And unfortunately, it's a great looking run back for the longest time here on the side of the Hangzhou Spark. They fight back when they have no time left, time and time again. But they cannot make it to the finish line. It all fizzles out from there.
Yeah, that was, again, great targeting from the Seoul Dynasty. One thing they've done fantastically in this series, not just this map, but is get on top of Shy. They completely nullified his impact on this map. That last Blade, jumping on top of him, knowing that that was Spark's only remaining card to play, you take that card off the table from the Hangzhou Spark, and suddenly they can't go to time bank anymore. And again, looking statistically, it's such an interesting matchup where Shy statistically played a lot better than Fitz in terms of doing nearly 2,000 to 3,000 more damage than Fitz with 14% better railgun accuracy, but Fitz still had at least 1 more final blow than Shy. So it's just a case of Hangzhou Spark getting the damage done, but struggling to actually get the kills.
Yeah, I mean, big moves there from Architect. Still looking incredibly well-versed on the Genji, but unfortunately, it's just not enough for them to be able to finish the map and try to make an OT play to force out that draw. Instead, we have the Dynasty now leading 2-0 as we get ready to take our first look at A back at Junkertown to see whether or not that could be the staging grounds for the Hangzhou Spark. You'll need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to walk away victorious and overtake the Dynasty at the top of the standings. We'll see if they can make it happen when we come back, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. A 2-0 lead now set up for the side of the Dynasty, who are looking to close this out with a 3-0, much like the Dragons did before them versus the Charge. But has been close. We started off a hell of a lot closer, I feel, than we saw on Midtown. Nearly got the full hold. Hangzhou Spark dug deep enough to be able to fight back, make it through to point B, but unfortunately could not finish the map and take us to overtime. Now Junkertown is standing in their way. They need to get a win here to try to start a reverse sweep.
I have a fun fact to update the audience with here. We were talking about how good Prophet was on this brig. Was he going to do anything incredible here? And said after the first map that, like, yeah, seems fine. Didn't really make any huge mistakes. Didn't see him, do anything egregious. But maybe hard for Brig to show any sort of pop-up potential here. We go to Midtown. Wait till the end. I pass over the stats. We come into what's about to be Junkertown now, and I'm looking over at Seoul Dynasty's last map statistically. Stalker and Smurf both equally led final blows at 12 apiece, which is not crazy. I think, Stalker getting a lot done there is pretty high up. Smurf started to really pop off on the Jungle Queen as well. But then after that, after first equal combined 12, the next highest final blows is Prophet's Brig on 11, only one behind Smurf and Stalker. What on earth is going on? How has Prophet done that? He's playing DPS on Brig.
The man is the GOAT. He's the GOAT for a reason. And we have seen in the past, you think back to the GOATS era DPS players who had to, play Brigitte back in that era, be incredibly strong and put up incredible figures, such as Hangzhou, as I already mentioned him, wanting to see, wishing that we could see him in this modern era playing the Genji once more. But, sometimes it can just kind of fit the groove for a DPS player, and Prophet
maybe
is showing,
a Hangzhou Brig instead. Again, to reiterate, it's
don't put
Stalker.
that curse. Yeah.
He won a Rookie of the Year on Brig. What are you talking about? Anyway, Stalker, to reiterate, Stalker and Smurf on 12 final blows equal, and then after that it's Prophet on 11. To reiterate, and then Fitz on 8, Vindame on 4. If you were curious, but it's wild that Prophet's somehow keeping up with the Genji and a Junker Queen on final blows as a Brig. So one of the most flexible players in the league has now expanded his hero pool into supports after playing Zarya and GOATS DPS the rest of his career. Now adding a Brig there as well to see if he can finish things off with maybe a 3-0 on Junkertown. And it will finally be the Fitz Ash coming on through. And I did say that this was probably going to be the map where Fitz might look to change off the Sojin, and indeed here we are.
Find a little swap up. Architect getting spotted there on that right side flank. Dynamite not going to be able to get the follow-up shot. So yeah, pushing him back. So Dynamite damage not going to found. Gets the dink though as Irony drops the shield for just a fraction of a second. Nice little punish, but there's no follow-up to be found. And in fact, it's going to be Fitz who dies first. Shy finally getting him in his sights with a nice little rail headshot.
An opening space being taken by Seoul Dynasty. We already have the payload in the kill box. This little choke before it goes into the open. Very important for Spark to hold this position. Once payload is in the wild in the open, it's a little bit more difficult. Keeping a lid onto Fitz is going to be important here as well. Bob can be a pretty big difference maker in these open spaces.
Swinging around from the coast side though. Stalker cutting through. Does find Super Rich. And Bernard just nowhere there. Not enough healing throughput from Irony to be able to try to keep him alive. So they end up picking him apart. Follow up. Just trying to finish off that break. Just managed to stay alive for a little bit longer than you might have anticipated. For now, the cart actually gets unoccupied.
Well, that's because you have Architect going towards Seoul Dynasty spawn. So Seoul Dynasty, they get caught in a weird space where they want to clean up Architect, but they also want to kill Irony, but they don't get either, which allows Hangzhou Spark to regroup for a full 5-man contest. That's huge for Spark.
There's a drop down. Shy of 3 meters now left to go. Architect popping the deflect. HP bar is falling low. Bernard is going to get taken down. The Jagged Blade from Smurf able to find him in the end. Irony out now falling. The rally rolling there from Prophet, just helping to make sure that they win out the fight cleanly. Stalker cutting his way through 3 with these dashes. Spots out where Architect is, wants to get him, but in the end won't pursue that deep. So now 4:20 in the time bank here for the side of the Dynasty as they push forward into the next phase.
Yeah, I don't think there was any sort of error made on the Seoul Dynasty side of putting Stalker on the Genji today. This has definitely been paying off for Seoul Dynasty in a big, big way. He's been phenomenal on this Genji so far. And pushing through the street space now of Junkertown, where it's Fitz the sole pusher, everyone else taking high ground, and Hangzhou Spark waiting for an opportunity to pull some ultimates out.
And not just poking and prodding as the card inches forward, surrounding the last corner now. Halfway to the next checkpoint here. It's the ults. Very much getting built up. 1v4 ready to go here.
Oh, they won't shine.
It's going to be blade pulled first from Stalker, yeah. Sound barrier instantly dropped by Super Rich. Stalker just going to rotate around the back, ends up being a bit of an air blade, so he can't really find a target. Just get the sound barrier out of him, so it's not necessarily worthless. Bob sent forward by Fitz, just looking to keep everybody's own back, offer up some additional chip damage. But now, sound barrier comes out from Binham, and Shy he pops the overclock, but instantly Stalker is there for the punish, gets on top of him, shuts down the ult, and the cart is still moving. Dragon Blade not going to get the hit, not going to get the pull that they were looking for, but the axe will certainly finish the job here for Smurf, just charging down onto Bernard, and yeah, let's go ahead and chip away at Super Rich, giving him a little bit of a stagger. 4.5 minutes now once more for the side of the Dynasty, who are looking relentless.
Relentless, and they're specifically also just being so relentless on Shy. Like 2 pings specifically on Shy there as well that we saw coming through. Stalker has spent his entire blade trying to hunt down Shy, and then after the battle blade is gone, still the prime target that they gotta get down is always Shy, and they do. They successfully clean up the overclock, like you sort of mentioned. Irony also loses rally, and the payload's free pushing the whole time. It currently is still free pushing. Spark need to put their foot down.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Stalker is certainly living up to the name right now. He is just consistently on the prowl, finding his targets. There's going to be the rampage from Bernard, however, manages to find 4. Clean up there instantly onto Prophet. Smurf will also get taken down. So off the back of the Jungle Queen ult, they will be able to find some stability and halt this card. We saw how long, how much time they were able to buy for themselves on that defense on Midtown. If they can do that once more here on Junkertown, drain away about 3 minutes or so, if not more, get the hold, and they'll be in a decent spot.
My bigger issue is how far up the payload already is. The fact that it took a long time for Spark to actually get that fight underway. Never mind that the payload's already started moving backwards, but it was already around that corner quite comfortably. Not quite around the final corner yet, but it was nearing that stretch, so it's a lot of free push from Seoul that was uncontested. Spark, that's lost meterage that they have to contend with, even if they can successfully defend Seoul.
Allowed access back to the cart here, relatively for free. Just kind of poking back and forth. Oh man! Stalker just dives onto Super Rich as he tries to dive onto the cart. Charge forward with a rampage. Not going to find too much, but it's enough to get Shy taken out of the fight. Now, rotating back down through the underpass. It's the opposite direction that the Hangzhou Spark members would love to be working their way towards. They end up falling. Architects with a parting gift on the Prophet, but the cart now moving forward, and not many people are going to be able to touch Super Rich. If he can even get there in time, he's going to have to drop this beat. 24 meters left to go. The blade pulled from Stalker, jumps into the back, and yep, they get sucked off. Okay, they just exit.
I don't know.
They're trying to peel. They can't.
Yeah,
moving on.
It's hard to know. Hard to know what happened in that last fight, given we look at Stalker characteristically hunting down Shy as he's done for 3 maps now, and he's somewhere in the middle of that. Hangzhou members ended up not being on the payload, and that was that. So.
Yeah.
Consider this, by the way. We only had 3 fights on C. Where do we have them? We had 1 very delayed fight after an immense amount of free push from Seoul. And then we had a secondary fight where Seoul come in after losing payload position, and then they pushed again. So realistically, Seoul had 2 drives on C. The first drive made it past the first corner. Second drive, they pushed it to the end, and then Hangzhou Spark come in for the final fight to touch payload. So, considering that Seoul Dynasty got this done in 2 drives, that's kind of ridiculous. And that's what I'm saying is, Spark gave them way too much free push. There's no way that Seoul can win all of C on 2 drives alone.
Yeah. A bit of a, I would call it a catch-22 at the very end there. Because I think what happened, since we don't have a replay, I would assume that the blade gets pulled from Stalker. He's diving into the back. Shy calls for some assistance. Irony and Super Rich both go try to peel so they can try to keep some distance, push the Genji away with the shield bash and the right clicks, and from there the card is unoccupied and it all comes tumbling down. So.
At this rate, one of Super Rich or Irony basically just needs to sit and babysit Shy. Just sit next to him, babysit him, because Stalker is not giving this up. Stalker is spending the whole game hunting down 1 player.
Like one of those weird parents that puts their children on leashes.
Yeah, you gotta be a helicopter parent for Shy today, because there are bad men out there who are trying to do bad things to Shy.
They are, and his name is Stalker. His name is Stalker, and he just takes his head off. Like, okay. The protect the Shy President mission is not going well.
Well, the Secret Service failed their jobs today.
Oh boy. Well, Stalker continuing to play off. Architect does get a nice little punish, and okay, the fight's gonna get turned. A little bit of time bought here off the rip, but yeah, a nice deflect there to just knock one back into the head of Fitz. A minute taken away with the forward hold, but now Hangzhou Spark as well are looking to extend forward. Poking and prodding away at the Dynasty as they look to recollect.
They might have lost Shy, but they respond with the full force of return fire that they can, which comes through from the Architect Genji. So they will have full payload control here, which is nice. They're about to exit the choke, which is required. With Burnout backing out, though, no, they're not going to be able to exit. Soul take control.
Yeah, they just pull away. I think they know. Just let the Dynasty come to us and then try to win that fight in a more defensive position rather than trying to play forward. But right now, it's not working out. Prophet and Irony going to be traded out, but they lose the front line. That's going to be the commanding shout taken away from them. Wait for the rejoin. Stalker taking quite a bit of damage.
Mega's gone.
Some healing. Mega. Smurf is just going to axe Architect down.
That's some well-earned reprieve for Seoul Dynasty as well, because otherwise that was getting tricky. Stalker being on low HP, can't pull Blade. Seoul Dynasty very much struggling to, they desperately try to keep him up. So had Architect not died there and Architect and the rest of 100 Sparks start pulling ultimates, Seoul Dynasty could have been in trouble, but back to a full neutral. Dynasty working on those ultimates now. A lot of time being burned off. It's Spark. You have to really get a clean fight when that will cap this map, cap this point at least.
Okay, Blade out. Stalker finding Irony off the rip. Looks for a little bit more. Gets a second, gets a third. How much deeper does he want to chase? He's trying to identify exactly where Super Rich is at. The whip shot from Prophet actually gives him a little bit of a speed boost to go ahead and rotate out of there. So he does keep his life intact, but it's a minute and 20 seconds now remaining for the side of the Spark. Ults aplenty, but is it going to be enough to break through this defensive positioning? Because Dynasty still have ults to match.
It's just time is such a big factor now. Even when and if Spark break this, how many ultimates will it cost? And by the way, Soul can respond. There's about 9 ultimates online, soon to be, about soon to be 9 ultimates. 8 going to 9, and I think most of them will get used.
Rally coming in, whip shot to knock him away. Shy taken down, however, Fitz with a nice headshot. Gets that punish nice and early in the fight. The Blade from Architect not going to be able to do anything. They just zone him back perfectly. That's a lot exhausted here. Now Architect taken down to the back end of the fight. 40 seconds remaining. It continues to just snowball out of control for them.
And now we're on to 30 seconds roughly. Definitely going to be final fight here. The only silver lining for Hangzhou is that Seoul did burn more ults. But whatever is remaining for Spark is going to have to be pulled here, and that's even considering the fact that Smurf might just pull through with a big rampage. If Smurf gets a big rampage, Spark could be in trouble, despite the sound barrier still being there though, which can definitely help out. Smurf in trouble.
Overclock first to lead. A little bit. Rampage through the side room. Everybody collected up. And the cleanup will be there. So it's seeming like once more, just like Midtown before it, Hangzhou Spark will be able to push through to get the cap on it at the very last seconds.
I mean, that's just
no
great play by
favors for them as far as building up a time bank.
It can even Seoul Dynasty come in. Smurf, I think he swapped off to a Wrecking Ball for like a split second there, but no, it looked like they are potentially giving this one. No, they're not. Stalker's got in. They're going to go for it. Final retake.
No, they're not. Yep, they're dropping down. Stalker, the first one to touch now. The mission is just stay on the card for both of these teams. Irony under an immense amount of pressure. Stalker able to finish him off now. Super Rich going to be the prime target here for them. If they can get rid of both supports or just take out Bernard. It seems like Van Haven's able to do it. Shy fighting back. He and Architect getting one apiece, but Stalker finds him. And it looks like the last second contest is going to come through for the side of the Dynasty. They play it out perfectly to get the full hold on Junkertown and go ahead and lock in a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and Stalker, phenomenal. I think that's it. I think Stalker really proved his mettle today on the Genji. He was the top player in the lobby again. 3 maps in a row, he was top in the lobby. So it's undeniable to me that Stalker was the single best player of all 10 players today in this particular matchup, 3-0. Just phenomenal stuff coming on through. Not even just the raw kills and the raw stats, but consider that the one big boon for the side of Hangzhou Spark, especially off the back of that first map, was Shy Sojin, which Stalker had basically put the lid on, locked it up, threw away the key, and farmed Shy and just dived on top of him as much as possible. And Spark just failed to protect Shy. They failed to be able to prevent Stalker from just running up to Shy, killing him fight after fight after fight after fight. There's no stat line for this, but I'd be willing to bet that well more than 50% of Shy's deaths was just the Stalker alone.
I mean, we have to spool back through the footage to prove it, but it certainly seems correct from what you're saying. And I mean, we're picking him up so much already. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Our player of the match, of course, is going to be Stalker. We weren't sure, what the lineup was going to look like from the side of the Dynasty. We were anticipating maybe Prophet Stalker to come through with, Prophet playing the Genji, but no, not to be. Stalker, he once more comes out playing something a bit new for us, and he absolutely impresses from the outset with that victory on Ruins, being able to clean up 4 kills the whole way across this series, just looking so damn consistent. So very well deserved from him.
And again, it's not even that just he is statistically the best player in the lobby today. He got the most kills, most damage, most of everything that matters and is good. But he also, despite enabling his own team and his own win conditions, removes the win conditions for Spark. I mean, you have to remember on this map, he deleted the Shy overclock as well when he pulled that through.
Yeah.
It's about removing all the tools and all the different pathways for Spark to succeed while enabling your own team to succeed, and Stalker just did all of that and more today. And I think there will be a lot of people that are probably surprised that Stalker played the Genji over Prophet, that Stalker is even playing Genji at all, because maybe they're thinking that Stalker is like the Sojin guy, and I kind of got baited into that as well. But considering that Stalker's history on Genji had mostly Genji and a lot of Genji in it, this is a return to form for Stalker, playing something that has been a signature hero for him in the past.
I mean, look at it. I mean, 40 final blows out of 72 eliminations. So just incredible from him. Do the figures look as flashy as Who Are You? No, but I think for a debut, this is still such an impeccable performance from Stalker. Played this to a T. And I mean, once more, it's always an exciting matchup between those two teams, every time we get the Dynasty clashing against the Dragons. But now I'm even more excited, because if Stalker's going to be playing like this, Who Are You is still in just perfect form on his own Genji. That is going to be a clash for the ages. So I can't wait for that one to happen down the line, because it's, of course, going to be a must-watch series, as it always is.
Yeah, and I wouldn't feel too bad for the Spark here either if you're kind of upset that Spark got wiped out 0-3 here. Just remember that they didn't have Alpha Yi. Given that, I think Architect did play well, but he is typically a substitute player here. He's not as well integrated into the core lineup, especially with new members here. So it is a bit of a rough showing for the Spark. I would suspect that with Alpha Yi back in the lineup to be the pilot of that Genji moving forward, that Hangzhou Spark have a decent amount of bounce back still left to play through. So this isn't quite DEFCON alert levels yet for Spark. I think it's a bit of a shame, but they have more to play through, more to show.
Oh, for sure. And I'm glad that you touched on it, because it was something that I wanted to bring up. I think, fortunately for Architect, this is not one of those matches you walk away from and everybody's just going to be pointing fingers and saying, like, if they had Alpha Yi, that this would have been a victory for the side of the Spark. I think it could have been closer. I think that they are used to playing with him, and the comms maybe are a little bit clearer. Like you said, Architect, we've only seen him twice. It's like this, and then when he was playing Ana before. So having Alpha Yi in there, having that consistency in the roster definitely makes things a bit smoother, but Architect was able to put up significant numbers in his own right. So it's not like he came in here and got completely swept under the rug. He had a great performance in his own right, and it was really just the Spark not being able to keep Shy protected. So we'll see if they're able to just kind of take a step back, rewatch the VOD here from this series, and identify, the key weaknesses there and what they need to do to keep Mr. President safe. But guys, that's going to do it for us here on our first day back. A pretty swift one, as it was only, 2.5 hours since we went live.
6-0.
Very quick series with the double 3 zeros, but yeah. A 6-0 day on the whole there, as Dynasty and Dragons pick up some wins. But, of course, this is just the start of a fairly long week, as we have 3 days' worth of action. And coming up tomorrow, we have 3 matches for you. Myself and Avril will be guiding you through all 3 of those. So we expect to see you all back here, same place, same time. You better be there. Set your alarms, mark your calendars, whatever you got to do. I want to see butts in seats watching this broadcast, because we love you all, and we want you to be a part of it. Good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.